Who inspires you? Your mother? Your child? Inspiration comes in many forms, and at WBGU-TV, you inspire us to bring entertaining and educational programming to our region. Get inspired, stay inspired.
Sauder Village is Ohio's largest living history destination. We offer guests of all ages the chance to really step back in time and experience the lives of the settlers who came here to the Great Black Swamp. And it really is all about the experience. Our guests can take their time and visit in more than 40 historic homes and shops, all staffed with costume guides or working craftspeople who share stories and sometimes hands-on opportunities, experiences for our guests to really learn about the pioneers who were here in Ohio from about 1803 until the early 1900s.
Welcome to the 1840s log school. The log school represents how they were building schools in this period of time in history. When the first settlers came in 1834, there were 20 children in the party. The manner of teaching then was memorization and recitation. So in order for the teacher to hear the students' recitation, she would call them up to the desk, and if they were not prepared to say their lesson, they would get the application of the hickory stick.
Well, this is the Eicher cabin. This is the home of Jacob and Barbara Eicher, and they lived here with their daughters. And their daughters actually would have slept upstairs. So behind this wall, there's a staircase that goes up. They built the cabin in 1855, and by that time, there were already 900 people living in German Township. And these people were from France, Germany, Switzerland. A lot of them were Amish Mennonites like the Eichers and had fled religious persecution in Europe.
Being able to shape something like steel is it's just a very it's a very real process and very connected to everything I make. I find I'm more interested in all the detail work. Haven't done a lot of very massive sculptural pieces or anything, but everything I make is very, very personal, and I find it reflects who I am.
I think when people visit Sauder Village, they really appreciate the fact that we have people in all of our buildings who welcome them in with a smile and really bring that history to life. I think sometimes when you hear a historic village or a history museum, you might think of a stuffy, musty place where it's, the artifacts and you have to read a sign. When Erie started the village back in 1976, making sure that the stories came alive was very important to him, and that's something that we've continued through the years, and I think that's what we hear from our guests most often is the fact that we bring that history to life. When Erie built Sauder Village, he wanted to make sure that we had lots of hospitality for our guests year-round. We also have the Barn Restaurant, which is a 200-seat restaurant that is an actual old barn where we serve home-style food, the real mashed potatoes and chicken and roast beef. That is open year-round. We also have the Sauder Heritage Inn, which is our 98-room country inn, complete with an indoor pool and hot tub and game room. It's really just a great destination for families to come and gather throughout the year and enjoy a fun getaway. Erie Sauder was definitely a man with a vision when he put Sauder Village together. As Erie was nearing retirement, he really always had a love and a passion for history. And at the time, he was seeing school children that were coming into the factory and watching as the gentleman in the factory would press a button, the board would go through, cut it off, and everything was so mechanized and seemed so easy. And Erie thought, how are future generations ever going to realize how hard our ancestors had to work to drain this land, which was once the Great Black Swamp, and make it their home? So he thought, you know, we really need to do something to preserve this history and make sure that these future generations know how hard life was and how hard our ancestors had to work. So we continue to look for new and interesting ways to share the stories and keep the history fun and alive for our guests.
Scenic Stops is brought to you by WBGU-TV. Support great local programming by giving now at wbgu.org/pledge.